and welcome to another episode of the Wonderlust Wealth Show. Today, we have Deanna, who is an account manager and product specialist for Relay. So now, if you don't know, you've probably heard me talk about it. Relay is a business bank, and it's a business bank that I use not just for like my real estate business, but also for my other businesses that I have going on. As you guys know, I do like interior design and I coach and all that stuff. So I do everything using Relay. So I am so excited to dive right into this. And Deanna, so excited just to have you on the show.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Olivia. And I love when I get to talk to other business owners that are not only on a podcast, but also use Relay. Totally changes the conversation. And I can't wait to hear your thoughts about it.
Yes, no, it's been huge. And I remember I got started with Relay probably like 2 years ago now. And I couldn't imagine like switching to anyone else because there's so many features and I'm sure we're going to go over that.
Yes, let's unpack it all.
Yes. So I guess, Deanna, first, before we even get into Relay, just tell me like, how did you get involved with Relay? How did you even start working there?
Yeah. So I kind of have an untraditional background for someone who works in the fintech and online banking space. I was actually in retail management for quite a few years and COVID hit. Mm-hmm. And I was still in it, but it just wasn't the same. I'm located in Toronto, Canada, and I was working at one of the biggest malls here and it was super fast paced and exciting. And then the landscape totally changed. And I thought, I don't know if I can see myself doing this anymore. What if we never come back to the way in-person was before? So I started thinking, where can I take these customer service skills, my relationship building? Where can I pivot to? And I ended up looking at a bunch of different tech startups, and that's where I saw Relay. And as soon as I met the team here and understood what the product offering was, it was like no brainer. Let's jump in. It was very, very early stages at Relay. I think I was the 16th hire that we had back in 2021. So it was all very, very new. But now, fast forward 3.5 years later, I work with accountants and bookkeepers and small business owners starting to use Relay and just hearing about how, just like you, Olivia, how you can't imagine going back without it, that it's a really, really rewarding experience. And had you asked me 5 years ago if I thought this is what I would be doing, definitely not, but I love it that way. So
yes, I love that. So, okay, tell me and tell the listeners a little bit more about Relay. Like what makes them different than another business bank? Because I remember when I was first looking at business banks to sign up with, I was looking at Chase and looking at some other big names that I just already had accounts with. So why would someone want to switch to Relay?
Yes. So Relay, for anybody listening today that this is their first time hearing about Relay, your life is about to change. But we're an online banking platform and money management system. So the idea on Relay is we have free banking. So opening checking accounts is free. Connecting to the rest of your tech stack is free. FDIC insurance with the 3 million. So it's all the basics you would need to really secure and run your business. But we allow all entities on Relay to have up to 20 checking accounts. And I know, Olivia, you're really into the real estate game and working with a lot of people in that industry. So it's kind of like a no-brainer, especially when working with multiple properties. But the idea behind that and why I say we're a cash flow system is because you can open all of these accounts with no minimums and no monthly fees. So if you want to start separating funds in your business for taxes, for payroll, for different savings goals, or even different properties, if you're running them all under the same EIN, you have the ability to do that on Relay without paying any additional fees, but it helps you really understand where your business is at financially. There is nothing more challenging than business owner logging in and seeing their one bank account and this lump sum and thinking, what do I owe? Who owes me? What do I actually have to spend here? And it can set you up to make some really not so great financial decisions. So that's why we really like to position ourselves that way as a cash flow platform, in addition to being an online banking platform. But that's why a lot of people come to Relay. We've got a ton of really great new features too, but that's at our core. We just want to help business owners really start to run their business. A lot of people get into business for what they're passionate about or the goods that they're selling, not really for the financial aspect. And it kind of helps them run that day to day.
Yeah, I know. And it's so like normal at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey to just kind of be like, put the banking stuff on the back end. You're like, I'm just going to figure it out as I go. And I cannot tell you how much of a bad idea that is.
100%.
Because when tax season comes, you're going to be like,
Yes. The amount of people that I speak to and they've been commingling, their personal and business for a while because it was just easier to put off, or they're thinking, this is just a side hustle. This isn't a legit business yet, right? Where, it is a legit business from day one, right? And you need to treat it as such, because it takes a lot of courage to run a business, whether it's your full-time or just a side hustle. It's a lot.
Totally. And so I guess I don't know if you necessarily know the question or the answer to this, but like, how did Relay come up with like the multiple checking account / savings account situation thing? Like, where did that even stem from?
Yeah. So our founders, Yusuf and Paul, their background is in working with different accounting platforms, small business advisors, working with payment platforms. So they've always worked around small businesses and around the finances. So really seeing the different things that people struggle with. And so when they created Relay, they thought, like, other than offering something that's really accessible for a banking platform, like, what else is really going to enable a business owner to understand what's going on in the business? And that's kind of where the multiple accounts came from. And that's just something we've had from day one of opening at Relay. And they are true individual accounts. There's some other platforms out there that offer the envelope system, which can also be good depending on what you're looking for. But these are true individual accounts. You can route payments different ways. They're going to show up separately in your accounting software if you're using it. So we just thought that it was a really, really great starting point and something you can take at your own pace, right? Just because there is 20 doesn't mean you have to use all 20. You can start with 1, 2, 5, whatever works best for you. The point is it's there. And as a business owner on Relay, you're in the driver's seat. So you can open, close, edit those accounts whenever you want.
Yeah. So for anyone and so we're going to kind of gear this a little bit more towards real estate, since a lot of people who are listening to this are like trying to get their first, second, maybe third property. What are some recommendations in terms of accounts that you'd actually recommend for them to open up right off the bat? And like, how should they separate it? So, they're not super overwhelmed in opening up 20 different accounts right off the bat.
Yeah. You want to take it step by step, right? You don't want to go crazy. But taxes is always a really great one that I suggest for everybody, because that's the one you're really going to feel. When you get through your first tax season, after you've set aside money for taxes throughout the year, or however long you've been doing it, it'll just be a relief, and you'll think, okay, what's the next account I can add? And if you have staff, payroll is another really, really good account. Or if you're working with contractors and you just want to set aside the funds to make sure you pay them, because if you miss their payday once, you will never forget that feeling for the rest of your life. So it's really nice to separate funds there too. If you're in like property management and you're collecting funds from a bunch of different properties, it's nice to be able to separate those two, or separate by property. So it depends on how many you're managing, of course, but 20 accounts is a lot of room to kind of grow there. So that would be another really great option too. The last thing I'd probably say is maybe an expenses account. So how are you actually operating your business? Let's make sure if you're trying to work really lean or try to really understand what's coming in and out for the month, separating those would be a really great option too. And of course, you can tie those with the Relay debit cards too. So you can really understand what's coming out from your business, and do we cut? Can we add? What's going on?
Yeah, no, I love it too, because I think for each property, I basically have either 4 to 5 accounts, depending on if I have partners in them or not. Yeah. And so it's like my first main account, that's where like all the money kind of funnels into, is the operating expense account. Mm-hmm. And that's where like the mortgage comes out of, the payments to cleaners, all of that stuff all comes out of this like forever funneling account, essentially. And then the thing that I love about Relay is that you can set up automations to automatically have percentages be sent to other accounts. So I automatically take out 30% and put it towards taxes. I automatically take out a certain percentage and put it towards my own like owner's pay, right? Because I want to get paid at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And like I put out, so for example, for my coaching program, I have people that work under me. I've got like a specific account for payroll and stuff like that. But yeah, it's so huge. And I love that I can kind of open it up and have a snapshot right away of what's in each account. I already can see like how much is in taxes, how much is going to like, are we below in terms of operating expenses? And that automatically triggers me to think of, okay, where are we leaking, right?
Exactly.
When you have that lump sum, like if you just have one bank account, it's so hard to pinpoint where issues are happening, like in terms of cash flow.
Exactly. And whether you are working with a financial advisor, a bookkeeper, somebody working within your business as well, often you're not speaking the same language as them. And if you're teaching yourself how to do the bookkeeping, it's even harder. So exactly what you said, like being able to see that snapshot is just a world of understanding for business owners rather than having to dig through. They're like, okay, I pay my bookkeeper for this, but I don't really know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
So what can everybody understand? Probably money in their bank accounts. Let's start there, right?
Yes, completely. And I know you touched on, debit cards. Can you kind of go into those a little bit more? Because I love the debit card feature, but I'll go over that after you actually explain them first. Because everyone's probably thinking, debit cards, like what's so special about them,
Well, they're about to find out. So I love our debit card feature because it's really like freedom for the business owner, whether you're a solopreneur or you have contractors, employees working with you. Relay gives you the ability per entity to create up to 50 debit cards if you really want. So it could be, that could be way higher amount than you would ever need, but it's there if your business does grow that size. So you can create cards whenever you want. They can be virtual or physical. Many of us run businesses now where you might not actually need a physical card for too many things. It's a lot of subscription-based pricing or auto pays. So connecting that to a virtual card is really great. But either way, you can create the cards. You can assign them to specific team members in your business if you'd like. Also, set up individual monthly and daily spending limits, ATM withdrawal limits. You can terminate the card, freeze a card, change the PIN. So even if someone else physically has that card, you are still in control as a business owner. And what we've added recently, and Olivia, I'd love to hear if you had a chance to try this out yet. A few months back, we added the receipt capture feature for Relay.
Oh my gosh. Huge.
It's huge. Yeah. So you have the ability to set up a receipt policy. So you can say, hey, I want receipts for every single transaction that comes out of the cards. So if you are in person making a purchase, as soon as that transaction goes through, the cardholder will receive a text message saying, hey, Olivia, upload your receipt, and you can do it directly in the text or sign into the app to do it. And that receipt will match to the transaction in Relay. So if you have multiple cards out there or multiple different things going on, this is a great way to keep yourself accountable to uploading that receipt. And because we are your banking platform, we know the minute that transaction goes through. So it's not waiting an hour, 6 hours the next day, because we need to change that habit immediately, right? It's human behavior, whether you're going to upload your receipt, and the sooner we can warn you to do it, the better. But that is just a feature built in directly to Relay. So everybody can use it. And that's probably my favorite feature about the debit cards today.
Yes, I love that. And the thing is like real estate really is a team sport. And especially once you start increasing the number of properties that you have, like I'm so thankful that my handyman and my cleaners, they each have their own card, right? Like, so they can go buy supplies or last minute things. Maybe something didn't arrive on time. They can kind of go and do that. And I don't have to be I don't have to be ordering stuff and sending it to there, blah, blah, blah. But and it's so funny because, people say that, people aren't using physical debit cards, but I find that people do, especially in rural areas. Like we have 2 properties in the Shenandoah Valley, and the easiest thing is to go to Walmart and pick stuff up. So that's what they go do with their card, which is really, really awesome. But the big thing that I also really love is the virtual debit card, because I remember, I've moved around. I've been a nomad for like 2 years now, which has been wild. But my debit card for my other, like a different bank account, a personal one of mine, expired. And I am basically moving every couple of days or every couple of weeks, trying to get this debit card sent here. And I'm changing the address and it's getting sent to the wrong place and all that stuff. And how much more beneficial it would be to just be able to have a virtual debit card. I wouldn't have to worry about it,
Yes. Yeah. Especially with traveling too, right? That's the example that we hear often too is I don't need a physical card, but I need to pull up something immediately that works. Or you think, worst case scenario, what if I'm in another country and, I lost my physical debit card? Well, easy. Create a virtual one, attach it to your phone, and immediately you can start using it. So you think like, how does this make my life easier? But also in like the worst case scenario or like a really negative situation, how can this also save me? Which is pretty fantastic.
Exactly. And it's just the fact that you still have full control over it, right? Like, let's say you don't want someone to spend more than $100 a day on it. You can set that limit to it. So you are still completely in control. And then the thing that I really, really love about Relay too is how you can add like visibility, right? So you can add different team members and they have different like levels of access to the property. So even I have my bookkeepers who have access to my bank accounts, but they don't have full access. Like they can't actually go in and move money or do anything. They can just see what's happening, which is exactly what I need them to do. And that's not possible for a lot of other banks. You like have to give them all of your information, but with Relay, they have their own login. They,
Yeah, it is quite interesting to look at the other business banking options out there. And sometimes they really feel like you are the only person involved in your business and can't fathom who else you might want to give access to. So when we built Relay, collaboration was definitely top of mind here. So whether it's business partners, contractors, property managers, external people like bookkeepers, advisors, you can give access without any extra liability. You're not giving your password out. You can collaborate and continue to run your business with everybody involved.
Okay. Also, so, a lot of people are probably hearing, they're like, oh my gosh, this sounds really cool. It probably costs money to join Relay. So can you tell people like what it actually entails in order to join Relay?
Yes. So we charge for two different things on Relay, okay? Outgoing wires. So domestically, $5, internationally, $10. And we can send 26 different currencies at a live exchange rate. And we also have upgrades available for accounts payable. It's called a Relay Pro. If you have a ton of outgoing payments or you want an approval system for your payments, maybe you've hired your bookkeeper to help you with payments, or you do a lot of wires, Relay Pro is something great to upgrade to. It's $30 monthly for an accounts payable package, but also unlimited wires and same day ACH. That is $30 if you upgrade. So again, the only two charges on Relay are sending wires or upgrading to Pro. If you don't do either of those for your business, it is completely free to bank with Relay. We don't have account fees. We don't have minimum balances. It's no transaction fees for next day ACH or check payments. So especially if you are feeling challenges at your local bank by what it costs, or you're a brand new business owner and maybe you've been commingling and you're thinking, I'm not ready to take the next step. What is it going to cost me? It's a really, really great option. We want to make it accessible for business owners of, in all parts of their journey, whether you're in the beginning or middle or end, whatever, it's available to you.
Okay, y'all, do I have something exciting for you? Now, I just came out with a brand new free training on exactly how you can get started investing in real estate within the next 3 months. Because if you're someone who wants more freedom in your life, the ability to travel the world and do the things that you actually want to do in life, you're going to want to listen up. Trust me. Now, this training is freaking awesome. I literally go in and spill the tea on the number one strategy that is working right now, like literally today in today's market. And I go over how to look at deals and make sure that they actually cash flow, and how to set your properties up so that you can run them from anywhere in the world. Like I literally have managed my properties from over 6 different time zones. So if you are stuck in analysis paralysis, you don't know where to start when it comes to real estate investing, but you know that it's something that you want to do in the future, this training is going to be for you. So to check it out, click the link in the show notes or DM me the word hack, like HACK on Instagram, and I will send you the link. Now let's dive back into the show. Yeah, and I think there are even some business banks out there where it's like they require you to put a minimum amount in your account. And the cool thing is, like with Relay, you can start with I think you can technically start with 0, but then you have to like put $100 or something like that to really get it started. Is that a thing, or am I wrong?
Of course we want you to use it.
Yes.
So we would love if you fund it, but there is no penalty if you didn't fund it.
Yeah. Totally. I love that. Love that. So I know, and I guess it's not recently anymore since it's been over a year, but you guys have partnered with Mike Michalowicz using the Profit First method. So can you tell people a little bit more about what the Profit First method is and why it's so important, and how Relay has really been able to kind of be a partner of the Profit First method?
Yes. I remember that was one of my favorite days working at Relay when we officially launched that partnership. I'm a Profit First certified professional myself, so I work with a lot of businesses implementing this. And if you have never heard of Profit First before, it is a book by Mike Michalowicz, and the idea is it's cash flow method. It's a mindset behavior change for business owners, and the idea is putting yourself first in the business. A lot of business owners start and think, well, I'm the bottom of the barrel. Like, we'll see if I get a paycheck at all this year. But it really flips the idea and thinks like, you are the person running the business. You need to be supported to keep this business in business, right? So the idea here is businesses have 5 separate accounts for to run their the operating of their business. Income would be the main one. So all of your deposits are going to funnel into there. And then on a cadence, maybe it's bi-weekly, weekly, whatever works for your business, you will transfer the funds into your other accounts. And the other accounts are your tax account, your profit account, your owner's pay account, and your operating expenses. And the idea here is by percentage, you figure out like what are the biggest needs of the business and transfer funds out into these accounts. And that's how you operate your business. So you just do this on whatever cadence you choose, and your whatever's in your operating expenses, that is what your operating expenses are for this month. That's the idea. So it's really, really cool. But obviously for this rollout, you need 5 or so checking accounts. And a lot of people felt a lot of roadblocks or challenges when they went to their local bank and said, hey, I need 4 more checking accounts. Their banks would kind of look at them like they're a little nutty, or what do you need these extra accounts for? Or if they did get the go ahead to open these accounts, they're going to have to pay per account or have a minimum balance per account. And that can be quite challenging, even for a large business that is profitable, right? It's a lot of money to save away. So those are the roadblocks that a lot of businesses were facing. And as we kind of mentioned earlier, Olivia, having multiple accounts on Relay has just been part of our creation. We've always had it, and we've always had it for free. So it was a no-brainer for businesses to start coming to Relay for that functionality because we made it easy for them. And then you mentioned a little bit earlier about the auto transfers, and that's actually what inspired that feature. So the idea here is on Relay, you can set those transfers to go off automatically based on whatever timing you choose. So you don't have to go in there and use a calculator, get an Excel spreadsheet out. You can go in there and plug the percentages that you want, and the system will transfer them for you. So the partnership was a no-brainer. And once we got it all settled with them, we were so excited to launch that. And that was about last April that we launched that. And I believe now on Relay, we have over 10,000 users here alone just to run Profit First. So it's quite the setup. And if it's something you're interested in, highly suggest reading the book and piloting it in Relay, because we're definitely built perfectly for that.
I know. I feel like I have to reread the book because it's been a couple of years now since I've read it. So just a refresher.
Yeah. And no matter what industry you're in, but especially real estate, they have sub books. So books that take the same method, but are niched down by industry and the different quirks or things that you might have in that industry and how you can change the method to work for you. So there is a real estate one by David Richter out there. So if you're interested, that's out there too. But no matter what way you want to run it, and honestly, it's your business, so it's up to you. But you have the ability to do that on Relay.
I love that. I love that. And so what are, I know one thing, you guys have savings accounts. Can you kind of describe a little bit about, I keep trying to plug that. But whenever you guys, feel like throwing in a high yield savings account, let me know.
I know
you're not there yet, but that's okay. But can you tell me a little bit more about the savings account situation too?
Yes. So per business on Relay, you can have up to 2 savings accounts, and they are 1% to 3% interest earning, depending on how much funds you're keeping in the account. It is bucketed. So if you want to earn the maximum of 3%, you have to keep about $1 million in the savings account. So that's the setup now. And you're right, Olivia, they're not high yields. The idea of rolling these out at a lower percentage was, we're not after businesses that are chasing for the high yield. There are other options out there. And many people do use multiple relationships for their business. Not everything is a one size fits all, right? So there's different options for you. But the idea of this was, we want to think about those business owners that maybe have never had the opportunity to save before or thinking about it for the first time. Let's get you in the practice of using a savings account and seeing the funds go up slowly over time. And what is cool about our savings accounts is that we've kind of built some guardrails around them to kind of help you as a business owner. So this is your scenario, like, this is my first time saving. Help me not pull it right back out of the account. The idea is you can't connect a debit card to your savings account. You cannot connect a external bank account to your savings account, and you cannot make a payment from it. So you can, of course, still access your funds. You just need to transfer it from a savings account in a checking account to use it. So not hard at all.
Yeah.
But, if we had to make you jump through a few hoops to kind of keep it in there, that's the idea, is to kind of keep you working towards those savings goals.
Yeah. And it's just a reminder too, like you can, especially with real estate, reserves are so important. So you might as well have them sitting in some sort of a savings account where they're actually accruing interest. And even for taxes, like I have my tax account is a savings account.
Yes, 100%.
So I'm just like, well, might as well just make some extra money there.
Absolutely. Because if you're only going to touch it on a quarterly once a year basis, you are going to keep it, have it, add some money to it while you're waiting. Like, why not? Yeah,
exactly. So I guess for anyone who's like on the fence of joining Relay, like what would you say, or what are some objections you've heard from others in terms of joining Relay? Have there been any objections before?
Of course. I think as humans, we hate change. That's just in our nature, whether it's good for us or not. And I would say the biggest objection that we get is, there is no physical location, or I don't want to leave my local bank that I've been at for 20 years. I've personally banked there. And for the physical location objection, when is the last time that you went into a bank? That you actually needed to, right?
I'm like, other than my dad, he is like a diehard physical bank kind of person.
Yeah. And there are, right? Maybe it's not going to be the best fit for everybody, but if you have not been to your physical bank in the last 6 months, in the last year, you probably don't need it. But if it does make you nervous, and I would feel comfortable with that around, absolutely use it. Open a Relay account anyway. We connect to 100% of US banks, whether they're credit unions, local, personal, business, doesn't matter. And so you can transfer funds from your local bank into Relay. It's free. Takes a business day or two to transfer back and forth. So you don't have to leave your local bank. You don't have to leave that comfort level. But if it's not serving your business the way that you want, like I'll typically ask business owners, what do you like about your bank? What do you love about your bank? It's not very often that they can come up with a list. Right? It's not the idea there. So don't leave if that's where your comfort zone is, but add on Relay to the side. Use it as your operating account. Use it as your daily functionality. And if going into the physical bank once a year makes you happy, do it, right? It's your business. You still need to run it how you want, but if you're not actually getting the support that you should be from a local bank, add in something else to the mix.
Yeah. So I know, people have been saying this for years, right? My dad always says this is like, it's so important to create a relationship with your bankers, right?
Yes.
Like, so how can people still continue, since you don't have a physical location, like how do people continue to have a physical or a relationship with their banker when it comes to Relay, and what does that look like? Also, I don't know, maybe you can dispel the whole idea of like creating a relationship with your banker. Like, why do people even say that? Just so everyone knows.
Yeah, right. That was the first thing that came to my mind. And honestly, it's a great question, especially in the real estate industry. So the main reason that you would want to keep a local relationship or any type of relationship with a local physical bank is if you need loan resources, if you need a credit card, something that we don't offer yet at Relay. We plan to launch these features in the future. It is not where we're at today. So if you anticipate you might need a loan in the future, 100% keep a local relationship. If you had a business during COVID, you probably also went through something like this. So it's good to keep it for that resource alone. And maybe you need to keep an account open with a couple $100. Great. Find out what that means for your bank. Keep the minimum balance and still utilize Relay on the side. Because like I mentioned, there is not one option out there that is one size fits all. So you have to make it work for you. And if that's keeping a local account for the one day you might need a loan, great, do that and use Relay alongside as the operating account. Once we roll out our credit card and our loan feature, then we could say,
is that coming? Is that coming?
Yes, it is coming.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's very exciting. We're in beta testing right now for the credit card.
Very cool.
We've got some users on it. We're piloting it, and we plan to launch it in the next month or two. So you'll definitely hear from us when we do. But yeah, it is coming. Our goal at Relay is we want to be one-stop shop. Anything you might need another platform for, we want to build into Relay. So it is all coming. We just got to have time to do it all,
Yes. I love that so much. And question for you, are you guys able to accept and send international wires or no?
Absolutely. So it is free to receive international wires on Relay, which I actually had a customer that switched to Relay and they saved $12,000 a year on us receiving wires for free. And then if you are sending international wires on Relay, if you're on Relay Standard, it is $10 per wire. If you upgrade to Pro, you pay $30 for that subscription, and it includes unlimited international wires. So if you do a couple a month, it's 100% worth the upgrade. Honestly, just depends on your international wire activity.
Yeah, no, that's awesome because I plan on in the next year or so buying internationally, but also even for this property I just closed on, had an account in Portugal, and it's a whole debacle of getting that over here. But the account that we transferred it to, I didn't want to mix it with other accounts that I had with Relay, so I didn't even think to go that route. But I'm like, okay, things to keep in mind for the future.
You're like, okay, I really can use it for everything.
Yes. Yeah. And I think it was a $50 fee or something like that to get it, to just receive it.
Can be expensive.
I was like, that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, it can be expensive. And it is, whether you're purchasing properties internationally or not, it's very common now to outsource work to different countries or have contractors elsewhere. And you need to be able to pay these people, right? Yeah. And if you're not in the US, it's not going to be by ACH. So you have to find another option. And this is a pretty great option because it can get quite expensive depending on your bank setup.
Completely. I love that. What would you say I know we've talked about quite a few different features. Is there any other hidden or new upcoming features coming with Relay that we should know about?
So we have talked about doing some cash flow reporting in the past.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, just kind of analyzing how much money you have coming in on a monthly basis, how much is going out, what are your spending habits. So we're looking at rolling out something like that.
Yeah.
No timeline on that. But then after, definitely the credit card is the biggest thing that will have launched ever, which is pretty exciting.
Yes.
And once we get that out and feel really good about that, exploring what a loan relationship would look like with Relay, whether it's through a third party or how we would roll that out. That's probably going to be the next really, really exciting thing from us.
Love that. Okay, a couple questions about the credit card situation.
Yes.
Are you guys doing it in terms of will you have a points portal and stuff like that? Or what does that look like in terms of the credit?
Yes.
I know it's coming out soon, so.
Yes. So it's going to be cashback rewards.
Okay, cool.
You will be able to see that accumulate within your Relay account. And we've set it up more of a charge card. So it's connected directly to your Relay checking account. So it's auto paid directly from there, making it really easy. And what I really love about it is, we were talking about receipt capture earlier. You can use that, of course, with their credit cards too. So if you want to roll in credit cards to your team for their purchases instead, you can, but you still get all the benefits of using the receipt capture with the debit cards.
Okay, that's huge. And then is the cashback also that goes towards you and your account, I guess? Yes. Oh, cool. That is very cool. I love that. I know, because I don't know, for some reason I was like, oh, does that go to them?
The card holder?
Yeah. I'm like, that doesn't really make sense.
No. We wouldn't leave you hanging like that.
I love that. And so will it be just physical credit cards, or will you be able to do virtual credit cards too? Is that a thing?
I think we're doing both.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Huge. Yeah, that would be huge. Oh my gosh. Super cool. I love that.
Yeah, stay tuned. Don't hold me to that one.
Yes. No worries. Honestly, by the time that this comes out, because I think it'll come out probably in September-ish, it might already be rolled out. So
wouldn't that be exciting?
Yes.
I love that.
I love that. Amazing. Well, is there anything else that you'd just like to share with the listeners about Relay, or anything else?
Well, we didn't plan for this, Olivia, but I would actually love to ask you a question, since you're a Relay user and a multi-entity Relay user. What do you think the biggest change has been for you since bringing your businesses onto Relay? What's the one thing that now you could never look back and do differently now that you're on Relay?
Honestly, for me, the fact that I just have a snapshot of where my money is going is huge. That's bigger. And I'm a big bucket person in general. So even before, I've used accounts with buckets and stuff like that. But I think I said this before, is I can just pinpoint where the problem is happening right off the bat versus being and because I hate bookkeeping. I hate looking at spreadsheets. I used to be an engineer. Once I quit, I was like, no more, Yeah. And so the fact that I don't have to go and look through every detail in a spreadsheet and can just kind of see it right there is huge to me. And then obviously I love like the debit card feature and the fact that I can assign that to a bunch of different people and all of that. But like, I really do think the fact that I can just see a snapshot right off the bat, I know like I know at the beginning of the month or in the middle of the month, if I have enough for payroll, if I have enough for this, if I have enough for that, versus it all just being kind of a mess in there.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I would love to hear that. And we didn't really touch on this, but for anybody listening, I know it's very popular, especially in this industry, to own multiple entities. And obviously, Olivia, that's your setup too. And so in Relay, you can click into your one business and see that snapshot, but then switch into the next business and the next. They're all under the same login. So you essentially get a dashboard of all of your businesses and can run through those snapshots super easily, right?
Well, yeah. And it's like, I've got 4 different LLCs, like 4 different entities, which is, don't get me wrong, sometimes a pain in the butt, but a lot easier with Relay. But especially if you are partnering, for example, on a property with different people, you can create a whole separate account just for that. So like we've got, one account with one set of partners and another account or not even account, but entity with the other set of partners, and they're completely separate.
Exactly.
That makes taxes so much easier. And the cool thing is like they have access, like the partners have access to see what's happening in the account. So we can be as transparent as possible throughout the entire process.
Yeah. And whether they're more silent partners or actively involved, they get the access, whether they want to use it or not. And that's what's really great.
And most of them honestly don't use it, which is fine by me, right?
Right.
But it's there for them.
Exactly. They have the option, which a lot of times you don't, right?
Yes. Completely.
Yeah.
Completely. Well, I love this. This was such a fantastic conversation. I know it's going to get so many people psyched up, ready to use Relay. And then I believe I have a sign up code and link.
You have a landing page.
I do have a landing page. So we will put a link to that, or you can DM me the word Relay on Instagram and it will send you everything on how to get signed up in there, and you get a bonus of, is it $50, $100?
It is. It's $50.
Okay. You get a free $50 if you sign up, and if you actually fund your account with $50 or $100, something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So yeah, DM me the word Relay, or in the show notes, you can find the link to the landing page. Get signed up. It's literally 100% free to get signed up, and you make money just by signing up and putting a few $50 in your account. So I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Deanna. I will definitely have to have you come on maybe in a few months or a year or so and talk about the new features, because I know you guys are always rolling out new features.
Yes, let's make this a yearly thing. The yearly Relay update. Let's do it.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Wonderless Wealth Show. Now, don't forget to follow the podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you love this episode, it would literally mean the world to me if you shared this with a friend or a family member, or literally like anyone off of the street. Like right now, go ahead, share it so you don't forget, or post it on social media and make sure to tag me. I love seeing what you're listening in on and what you resonated with, and I'm just so freaking thankful for you. I'm so freaking excited for you. I love you, and don't forget, life really doesn't have to be hard.